if you take note, there's a compass on the bottom right. North is actually to the right. South is actually to the left. This is sort of like the northern point of a peninsula area east of the northern Dwelling Mountains. The sky ship, for size reference, is all the way on the east side. It's actually docked down near the water. It is no longer flying. But from where you are, you can't actually see it. There are walls around this city. All of you make a perception roll.
Sure,
and you may zoom in where I'm pinging. Just kind of that's where you are positioned at the moment.
Check out this perception.
And
Wow.
Where are you pinging in?
Where are you pinging?
Okay, so there's an area called Malar's Throat. You're just north or above it
That's all I wanted.
on the grassy hill, and your tokens are there. And I actually do have maps to further detail areas of the city, which I will also
What
be
a
referring to.
nice map. That's great.
Oh
Hello.
yeah, you have no idea how much detail I put into the actual locations as well. I'm really excited for a little bit more of an open world approach. So from where you are, it's at this point in the day, it's early afternoon. The skies are partly cloudy. You think it might even start drizzling by the looks of it, especially you, Cedric, who's used to sailing. You're familiar with weather and when it comes and goes. To your right, Malar's Throat, as it's called. You don't know this in character yet, but you see lots of kind of small shanty shacks. They look very modest and humble. You see to your left lots of new construction, and you hear the sound of hammer on nail and wood. You sense that there's lots of new construction being erected in what's called the Old City there on the map. And then you see a grand stone wall surrounding the rest of the inner city. So that's what you can see from your location. You can hear the sounds of the bustling city within the walls. You see smoke rising from here or there from various chimneys. But you can tell that this is a sprawling city, and the stonework of the city, of the walls itself, you can tell are likely of dwarven origin. And you do remember Kurdu Steelback saying that Greihuld was originally a dwarven city. But he did mention that since then it's become more modernized, just lots of other people. It is a port city, so it sees the blending of many cultures. The other structures outside of the wall do not resemble dwarven structure, as they are probably newer and made of wood, and can be made from other races that came through, whether it be human or whatnot. But the stone structure of the city itself is dwarven. What would you all like to do from this point?
I want to get shit-faced. That's what I want to do. I want to forget everything just
I
happened.
want to fucking find an inn and sleep, because we haven't slept in a long fucking time.
I'm gonna have you roll. I'm gonna have you do insight for this.
Okay.
Artemis doesn't know anything like outside of the 3 islands he was born from.
So Cedric, you're used to traversing nature and getting the lay of the land. You're not as familiar with cities. However, you do kind of sense that there are 2 entrances near your location. One would be to the right, and you see kind of an opening gate there, and you see an opening gate up here. I don't know if you saw those pings. One to your left and one to your right. Openings in the wall.
Which place looks more sketchy? Malar's Throat.
The place detailed on the map as Malar's Throat appears to be more of a shanty area of small, modest shacks that have most likely been established there for a while. Some of the earth there is a bit muddier and well beaten. The area to your left is heavily under construction. There appear to be more humans working on new wooden structures there. But it also does not, neither of these areas match the grandiosity of dwarven stonework of the walls of the city and what may lie within the city.
Turn to everyone else, be like, so, mud or construction?
Why don't we try to go in the city instead of slumming it that badly?
Well, it's going through mud or you're going through construction. Take your
Well,
pick.
I think I'd rather go through construction.
Yeah.
Then we'll go that way. That way, and we'll start going to the left.
I pull out the map of the city and show it to Cedric and say, does this help?
I mean,
'Cause
there's
I have a map
gate
of
over
the
there,
city.
and there's a gate down over there.
So for now, I will move your tokens because this is, I'll just do it by group. I'll just copy and paste the whole group. But yeah, the map of the city that has is almost identical to this map here in characters. So you can refer to the map, absolutely, yeah.
Alright, but we'll do the west one, because less muddy.
You see that there are indeed a lot of humans here, and you see dwarves coexisting. A lot of the humans are building up new wooden structures, as I said. It's a lively place. You see townsfolk kind of walking through. You feel safe. You feel that there are a lot of people living here. You don't see any tieflings. You don't see any dragonborn. But you do see elves, wood elves, high elves, all of that. You see dwarves.
Elves, dwarves, and humans.
Even a few gnomes, definitely many halflings. And you come across the main entrance of the city, and there are several guards there that are on duty. They are human and dwarven, and they're wearing full plate mail, and they seem amiable.
Let's approach the guards.
Oh god, finding where our tokens are is like finding where's Waldo.
So
Yeah, I don't know where we are.
Okay,
So-
this is
so
where we are
for-
over here.
We're in the
Yeah.
old city.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
We are
Oh,
Alright.
we're
Yeah.
like down a.
where's Waldo?
I say, hello, darling. Could you direct us to an inn where nothing will bite us from the bedding while we sleep, and there's some good alcohol?
Well, we have a few different places in the city here. We have the Hardy Harlequin, we have the Bear and Hen Inn, and we also have the Lucky Squirrel. Those are the three main places that travelers go to, but if you like the place for adventurers, the Lucky Squirrel is the place for you. But if you like the place that the locals go, we have the Bear and Hen.
I like the one. Here.
Alright, where's the Bear and Hen?
The Bear and Hen can't be missed in the Harbor Ward. All the sailors make their way through there, and all the locals, mind you.
Sounds like a good way to get the lay of the land. Thank you so much, sir.
Not so fast. We are screening everyone who enters the city, especially in the time of the rot. Surely you understand. I imagine you're a cooperative bunch, yes?
Absolutely,
Of
we've
course.
we've cured it. We're all clean, but you're certainly welcome to examine us.
You speak of a cure. Can you
Oh, yes.
explain
Yeah.
yourself?
Yes, talk to the druid here. He has the formula.
Well, speak up.
How the? Okay, now
Perhaps we should
here it is.
visit a school of medicine and pass this along on our way through.
It's probably a good idea. Alright, let's see. I mean, at its core, it's simple. Getting the stuff is not exactly simple. But, you know, whatever. I'll tell you when. Because all you have to do is grind up one Orticus flower, and along with a gin blossom and an emberberry, until it's more like a paste, more like it's a paste, until it's maybe about that big, and then it's like an inch in diameter with my fingers. And then you put in a little bit of ice table mushroom, and then the hard part is you need to add fresh giant's blood. That's the hard. And then that gets all pasty, and then eat it. They should be fine.
So, this guard who has a large brown braided beard and he stands about 6'3", he strokes his beard and he seems genuinely interested, but I would like you to make an insight roll on him, Cedric.
Okay. See how well this goes. Here. Me. The insight. Do my roll.
You see that he is genuinely interested, but you can also tell that he sees many people come through these gates day in and day out, and he also hears tales of wonder. Some true, some not, some told by nervous people who are afraid of guards, and he's not really sure what to believe. But he hears many interesting things. A lot of them are bullshit. Either way, he does
I have my
nod.
validation.
He does nod to you, and he does say, "We're having a particularly bad case of the rot, spreading around in the Tirki anchorage. So if you truly do have something that you can help with, I would visit there, and perhaps you can help them. But go with caution. The rot is particularly bad there." You can find
cover our
that area.
mouths.
You can find that area toward the southeastern part of the city, just along the outskirts of the wall there. So,
Thank you so much.
you, the druid there, I believe you're a druid. You look like you're a man of nature. Step forward. That is 10 gold pieces to enter the city. We are charging entrance during this time for the extra hours that my men are working at the gates. 10 gold per person. So you first come through. So, out of character, Cedric, if you do pay the 10 gold, you may enter first.
Is it 10 per person?
10 per person. So for you, that would be 10. The guard is requesting 10 gold for you to enter through the gate.
Oh, that seems... Scam.
With your insight roll, you also see that he is truly a guard, and he's with several other guards with the emblem of Greihuld, which is sort of
so are the Wi-Fi guards. They still try to...
That is true.
Can I do
What is
another
it?
insight roll to see if he's bullshitting me?
No, there's only time for one insight roll.
Fine.
I'm gonna fucking.
So do you pay the gold, or would you like to do another thing, or? Okay, so minus 10 from your inventory. You pass by. I assume you wait for the others, or are you going forward? Or what would you like to do?
I'll chill right where I am.
Very good. Who steps forward next?
I will.
All right. He looks you up and down. He sees that you are somebody who has grown up with nobles and addresses him appropriately. He says, what is your business here in the city? Do you speak for the others?
I do, sir. Some are in my employ. The others have joined up with me. We
And
are.
who's in your employ, if I may interrupt?
Sir Felminar over there is my bodyguard.
Have him step forward, please.
Bring him forward.
Step forward.
And continue. What is your business here?
Well, we're here to rest. We're on our way to investigate a necromancer who might be the source of the rot.
Very good. That'll be 10 gold each. Please step forward.
10
You see
gold. You
the-
charge
sorry?
every single person who passes through the gates at 10 gold. That's- That's a year of wages for some people.
Aye. Make an insight roll.
Okay. Insight. Yeah.
So
Not much.
with an 8, you do see that he understands, and you see that it is his obligation, and that you see in the look on his face as he looks down and nods that he's not the one who's making this policy, that he's merely following orders, and he understands that it is a hardship for many people that come through. But you can also see that he has not slept well, and that he has been dealing with a lot of the troubles the city has been going through lately, including extra protection to monitor those going through. And you also see that as he is interviewing each of you, he's also looking at your physical health. And he nods and says, I understand, sir, but it is the requirement.
That's going to be very hard for a lot of people. You and your fellow guards might not be safe when this is over. Might not be safe now when the people start to panic and the plague gets worse and worse. They might riot. You're in a very difficult position, aren't you?
Make a persuasion roll.
I mean, I'm not really trying to persuade anything, but sure.
Okay, well, if you're not actively persuading, but your speech is somewhat persuasive, he nods and says, I understand far too well, sir. And what is your name?
My name is Lorian.
Well, Lorian, I'll tell you what. If you tell the owner of the Bear and Hen, his name is Gregor, if you tell the owner of the Bear and Hen that I sent you, my name is Hoss. Not like the
Nice.
horse, but the Hoss. He may give you a discount on room and board for your people here. But try to keep that between us. We don't need the whole town knowing that. You understand?
I do appreciate that, sir, and I hope that everyone can stay safe, and I swear to you that we will do our best to try to find a solution to this.
Right.
We all depend
I-
on each other right now.
And I
And I
will
pay
need
him.
to take that gold.
Yeah, I pay him for the rest of the party. Honestly, And I give 10 gold back to Cedric. So that's 70 gold, yeah?
So he says, now tell me, who are you covering now? Tell me which one of these individuals are with you. Because you see other people also kind of in the area. It's bustling. So he asks you to point out the other individuals.
I point out the entire party.
Very good. So he lets Lorien and Falconer pass, but he wants to also see who's next, who steps up next.
Right,
But
so I'll wait until we all have them
he
pass.
acknowledges that they're paid for, though.
Okay.
And he is grateful for that. So who steps up next?
I'll take 5, and then just be like, come on. And I'll just like, I don't know, I'm probably sitting on like the nearest thing that can be sat on.
Oh, you're
got
gonna
it.
just take 5 of the gold? Okay.
You got time to.
So he actually requests that Nim Lalaway steps forward. And don't worry, Cedric, I'm not going to put you in a position to do too much RP for Nim Lalaway, but he does indeed request that she steps forward.
I forgot Nim wasn't here and that I was in charge of that.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, sure. I'm going to say Nim's not stupid and will actually step forward.
Okay. So he actually spends a little more time looking her up and down physically. And although she has fully recovered several days earlier, it's been about a week, you all acknowledge that she does look a little worn down. She has some of the visual symptoms, although she feels energized. She still is a little more pale for a drow, which I know is probably a bit funny, but you can actually see it in her skin. She still has the bloodshot eyes and things like that. The guard says very matter-of-factly, with a commanding voice, "Lift your lip and let me see your gums, miss." So, it's up to you, Cedric.
Just do as he says. I say, she's the one we cured.
Say she does it. I'm gonna speak up, be like, she's fine in terms of it. She might still have, like, some scarring from it, but she's the one that cured.
You can see the guard almost hold his breath for a moment as he leans in to inspect her gums, and he has a look of awe about him and says, "Remarkable. Consider yourself one of the lucky ones." And you can tell that he actually can tell that she was infected and has recovered, and lets her step forward. You all now know that perhaps by inspecting someone's gums you can see whether or not they've recovered from the rot or are infected by it.
I asked the guard how we can tell that. How can we tell from looking at someone's gums, if you don't mind, sir?
Well, you know when you flex your arm and you see the veins protrude from the muscles?
Yes.
Or when you think too hard and your temples protrude? Your gums will be a little more veiny for a time. For some it's been a month, but it's still too soon to tell. But if you truly are recovering and if you have a strong spirit, your gums will show these veins for a time.
Oh,
It's starting to sound like Hellblade.
I gotta look into that, I don't know what that is.
Hellblade, yo, really good game.
Next, he points to Resolin. Step forward, ma'am.
Oh heck.
Make an insight roll, Resolin.
An insight roll? Okay.
Yes. You see him look you up and down a little more than the others, but you can tell that he's more interested in the fact that you're also a drow. He says, "Are you related to
Oh
Nim
yeah.
Lalaway?" Now keep in mind you have an excellent disguise on. Are you related to this lady here? Were you also infected?
No.
Let me see your gums.
Can infect out.
Canon what?
Can in fact vouch.
You were clean.
Show him. Go ahead, darling. Show him your gums. It's all right.
Shouldn't that was around the same time?
Okay, so yeah, she shows him her gums.
So you do so? So your disguise is in such a way that it does not affect your gums, so that is very lucky in that circumstance. And then he says, "Neither infected nor recovered. Also consider yourself lucky spending so much time next to your friend or sister, whoever this is. You can step forward as well. You've been paid for by your friend." Let's see, next, you, the tiefling, step forward, sir. He points to Artemis, and the guards actually look over both Sandro and Archimus at the same time, and you see one of the guards walk up to the one who's questioning you all and begins whispering in his ear information. And they turn and they speak amongst themselves.
Could I see the guard's lip?
Make a perception roll first to see if you can see their lips.
I'll finally maybe be able to use it.
Yeah, that's a really cool skill to have. And did I hear Archimus return as well? I
Damn.
thought I heard someone's voice. You can only see the guard who's whispering to the one who's questioning you all, Haas.
Just fine.
So you see
like.
So you see him say a few things with his lips that don't necessarily make entire sense. You see the words Veus Ambert, and you see the words Order of Whispers, and you also see the word custody. That's all you can see from his lips.
Uh-oh.
Man, that's not sketchy at all.
And so after they speak for a moment, the main guard, who is quite amiable and appears to be reasonable, walks up to Sandro and says, so far you and your people have been cooperative. I see you're here with what appear to be adventurers. They seem to be following our rules and allowing us to inspect. And your ally here has even paid for your entrance to the city. However, there is some information that has come to my attention. And you there, sir, I imagine you are a monk. You appear to be a man of the cloth. I would appreciate it if you would come with us for some questioning regarding some occurrences in the city as of late. Is this something that you would be okay with, or would we have to turn you away at the gates here? I'm giving you that opportunity at the very least.
Sandro.
And so, I can either make that decision for Sandro, or one of you could decide to speak for him. It's up to you guys, out of character. I don't know what you would prefer.
I'm not
Flexible.
Sandro. Character.
I wouldn't want to bother him if he's busy IRL, but if none of you have a group decision or anything like that.
I feel like I've known the person who plays Sandro for about 5 or 6 years, so I feel like I have a good enough grasp on how his character would act. And in this situation, I feel like he would be comfortable going with these monks for questioning.
Very well. So the guard says, once he agrees, we're going to take you to the eastern district of the city through the market ward, and we're going to have a talk with you at our one of our guard towers. We are not going to harm you in any way. We just need to have a word with you and collect some information about your whereabouts. We've been having an issue with a certain sect of monk, so we will free you after we have this discussion. And the guard who walked up and talked with Haas escorts him with a few other guards into the city.
Okay.
And he leaves your view. And next he waves forward to Archimus, the last person to be inspected.
Archimus is gonna step up.
While they do that, I'll just like lean over to Laurie and be like, this part's gonna be quiet. Like, real, try to be subtle, just something with the group of whispers. I'll be back. Make sure they don't do it.
Make
And
sure you cut out there.
I'll make sure that he doesn't get into any trouble.
All right.
I'll call for you if I need.
Okay. For fuck's sake, hold on.
And
So are you tailing them, or what is it that you're
I'll
doing?
shape into. Have I seen any stray animals?
You saw only
I'm
one.
sorry, there's a medical emergency. I'll be right back.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
Okay, be safe. Cedric, you saw only one stray cat in the old city, and it was just like an orange cat, so a regular cat wandering through the streets around the construction sites.
Oh, most likely a wild shape into a cat
All right.
and try to act natural and follow them.
Yep. So as you do that, you see that there are many people moving through the streets, and they pay no attention to you at all. They're used to seeing cats and even the occasional dog roaming through the
I'm
streets.
sorry, I'm back.
Welcome
Okay.
back. Is everything
Alright.
okay, F?
You good?
Yeah. Edwin just got a new ear piercing.
Uh,
Oh.
Not
feel that.
purposefully,
Oh.
Oh.
with a
oh.
filthy cat claw. So,
Oh.
I felt that
Oh.
part.
Speaking of cats, Cedric turned into
Speaking of
one.
cats, I'm a cat now.
oh,
See,
don't scratch me.
Rawr. Lame. I'm a.
So,
I'm following the cat.
so Cedric, as you make your way through the first area there, you see that there is to your right, and that's the way they're going. They're actually going to the right once you go through the entrance. There is a very busy bazaar with many shops of all sorts. Fire breathers. There are people selling vegetables. There's people selling artwork and all manner of things. And the guards are escorting him at a fairly brisk pace. They're not running, but they're walking briskly with him. Sandra appears to be cooperating.
Just stay a little bit behind. Not
All
too
right.
far.
Very good.
Left and not vicious.
And you do have to, make your way through people's feet and things like that, but no one is like actively caring about a cat. Artemis, do you step forward when he
Yes,
waves
yeah,
you
I can
forward?
step forward. Yes.
Okay. You see the guard in his thoughts for a moment, and he says aloud, so many tieflings these days. So many things happening. I must ask you, what does the name Mr. Ambert mean to you?
I have been out of this loop for quite a while. Oh, Seely, is there anything that I would know, Seely, that I am...
So, so in character, you've never heard this name in your life, and you see that
Okay.
he is doing the best he can to read you as he says this name and as you respond.
I'm going to perk an eyebrow and shake my head. Never heard a name like that in my life, no.
So you've never heard of a Mr. Ambert. You've never heard of a Veus Ambert ever.
No, doesn't ring a bell.
I've heard from this gentleman over here what your business was in the city as a group, but I would like to hear from you what your business in this city is.
Well, we've been quite non-stop fighting for what feels like days and weeks. So right now we're just looking for a place to rest until we continue on with what we have to do, which I'm just following my party around, making sure they're safe, adding them with extra firepower.
You mentioned fighting. Are you hunters, or what is it that you were fighting these past few days?
Well, turns out band of orcs didn't like us. Had to fight them to get away from them. Then, most recently, 3 basilisks came out of snow. Quite troublesome. We've been up north for quite a while. Yes.
Well, we haven't seen those here in quite a time. That's
It was quite far up north compared to here.
and
I see.
which way did you come from? If you came from the Northern Dwalin Mountains, surely you didn't come from there originally. Where is it that you were before that?
What's the fort called again?
That would be Port Firth.
Port Firth. We came from there and ended up getting sailing a ship up north.
So
And then we came down.
You see a twinkle in the guard's eye as he begins to connect the dots, and he says, were you there at the time of the crystals? The crystals in Port Firth that
Yes,
destroyed...
I actually was one of the people that played music, seemed to calm it down.
You are the hero that made the crystals go away. You saved that city, didn't you? You're
I wouldn't take all the
speak of.
credit, but
Oh, we already have some bards here singing a song of that.
Sweet.
would you like me to join them in a play one day?
I would love that. And, this makes more sense to me now, because the tieflings associated with the man that I am referring to were more colored of the sun, and you're more of the violet. So this makes a little more sense to me. Well, we are very happy to have you here in the city. May I make a recommendation? If you play a tune or two and let people know who you are, you're sure to get some coin tossed your way.
Oh, thank you. I'll be sure to do that then. I pride myself in my viol and my talents.
Pleasure to have you here. Come right in the city.
I'm going to give him a bow to my head and step inside.
Very good. So you are now all in the city. So Cedric, you make your way all the way, following them through the bustling bazaar, all the way past the dock. No, sorry. South of the bazaar here that I'm pinging.
Okay.
Oh, city of
And
Greihuld.
they begin to enter what is called the market ward. You are now between the merchant's ward and the market ward. Do you choose to continue?
Keep following them.
Okay. You continue all along the southern side of the bay and marina, and you make your way.
Marina.
I don't know if you can. I don't know if you can follow my pings.
Yeah.
But they enter this building here.
Okay.
I need to pull up my notes for just a moment, so I can help describe that for you. Just give me a moment. But there, you see many things as you make your way through the city. It's a really
It comes
bustling
with sport.
city. Yeah. But yeah, what would you like to do as they enter the building? It's made of excellent masonry. You see that there are many guards around that city, and there are also bars on some of the windows as well.
Are there like guards like just posted outside the door?
There are dwarven guards.
I'll try to get to a little spot not actively being looked at, like by guards and stuff. And then let's see. I should have gone with the other one to start with. Oh well. Not any immediate danger at the moment. But then I will wild shape into a spider? Some small insect that wouldn't be at the horse.
Spider is doable, and you've done it before.
And then I'll crawl the inside.
Crawl inside where?
I'll try to go over the top of the door. So
Okay.
I'm not like right now.
So they've entered, the door is closed. You see a small crevice on the top of the door. You also see not only dwarves in full plate mail with halberds, but you also see, actually make a perception roll.
Okay. Bop.
So
There we go.
before the front of these, the doors are actually made of metal, the walls are made of stone and tile. Before you see the doors closed, you do see robed individuals that appear to also wear the sigil of Greihuld, which is sort of like a Roman lettered G with like lines, two double line cutting through it. You see them wearing robes. You believe them to be magic users or something of the sort. You're not sure. The metal doors close. You approach the crevice on the top. Make an Arcana roll.
I was just about to ask, do I get any like magic vibes from the inside?
Although some DMs do that sort of thing, I generally don't. You don't see anything inside other than tile and stonework and halls. It looks very bland inside. Doesn't look like there's a lot of decorations. Judging by the bars on the outside, you think that this potentially could be a prison. You're not sure. When you try to approach the crevice on the top of the door, you are met with a magical resistance. With a 4 of Arcana, you're not really sure what that resistance is or what's causing it, but you do deem it to be something of magic.
Can't go in.
You cannot go through the crevice, no. And it's not
Okay.
because of the space between the crevices, it's because of a magic barrier.
Okay.
Back to the other adventurers for the time being. You all are now within the city walls. What is it you would like to do?
I'm going to make my way, follow the guards' directions to the Baron Hen.
Okay, so you do recall that he said it is by the harbor ward. He said it's hard to miss.
Yeah, I'm
So-
definitely following her as well.
I'll follow as well.
There's a both.
Okay, so tell me precisely where you walk if we're looking at the map here.
Okay, you said it's in the harbor
Ward.
Harbor Ward. Okay, and we are coming. Okay, let's see. I would think we would go south a little bit, like down through here under this bridge. Do you see where I'm pinging? Is there a way
Okay.
through right here?
Well, those are just sort of like awnings. That's actually
The market.
many things there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab your tokens. We're going to go to a closer view of exactly what's going on here. So this is the same way that Cedric already made his way as a cat. So let me grab your tokens. 1, 2, 3.
Also,
1, 2, 3.
while we are walking, Artemis is definitely going to have something over his mouth due to the knowledge of the rot being pretty spread about the city.
Are you taking it like Corona?
Very good, very good.
Yeah, pretty much. We're gonna all practice social distancing in the city, and we're gonna mask up.
Keep our.
I'm gonna mask up too. I've got a fine silk handkerchief that I'm masking up with. I recommend
So,
everyone do this.
I haven't.
As you enter this area of the city, you do see more seagulls as you approach. This is a bustling marketplace, and yeah, you have to make your way through here. Cedric did so as a cat and went very quickly, and he saw many of these same sights as you did.
Oh wow, many people.
You're actually a little surprised at how many people there are, considering that the rot is a problem. You don't see anybody that's really sickly, but you do remember that the anchorage area of the city was infected.
Oh no. I wanted to go explore there, but never mind.
So as you walk forward, all of you make a perception roll. Everyone who's in the bazaar, that is. So.
Okay.
We all need perception? Oh.
Yeah, you can all make a perception roll.
I'm just going to assume that I don't get to rolls. I had to win.
Well, you're not. You're not.
You're a cat right now.
Oh yeah, but I went through there, so I'm just going fast.
You see this a lot of the same things that Cedric did see. In particular, you see lots and lots of food stalls. You see all kinds of vegetables. You perceive this to be a lot of the people who own farms on the outskirts of the city, or maybe in sort of the village areas on the outskirts of the walls of the city. Come in here and have their daily sales of vegetables and livestock, and many of the fishermen sell their things in this part of the city. You don't see a lot of high-end like artifacts or magical things or potions or things like that, more so produce, but you do see a stall that has lots of art and instruments and games and things like that, which sort of stands out among the rest. But this is the path that you must take in order to get to the harbor ward.
If I might be allowed to perhaps push my luck a little bit, with this 20 perception check, could I see the people up top of those watchtowers?
Oh, yes. They're quite visible, but the others don't really pay attention above them, because most of you are not used to seeing such a busy sight in front of you. You see that they are dwarves up on top. You see that they're city guard, and they are brandishing crossbows. They don't seem too particularly alarmed or anything. They're just sort of standing there at their post doing their job, making sure there's no trouble being made in the marketplace. And then you also see a few beggars here and there, people going back and forth with water from the wells. You see humans working on some of the roofs. Some of the construction is also being erected in the marketplace as well.
Okay. I'm just going to follow the party right now. I don't think Artemis exactly needs anything to purchase. Was my gold? Did I have to take gold out, or was it 10 gold to enter for everyone, or did I not have to pay?
Oh,
I paid for everybody.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that works then. That was my only question. I'm just gonna follow the party around. I don't have anything exactly that stands out to me.
All right. So I'll move Nims for now. There you go. I'll help Reslin move hers a little bit. So as you come this way, you do see a potion shop. You see a man wearing like a turban type thing to your right, and he's shouting, "Potions, potions, potions for sale." You see
master.
all manner of things. You see some children wearing rags running through the streets as well. And you can choose your pace. Do you want to move at a fairly quick pace as a group? Do you want to move at a slow pace, or what kind of pace are you?
I think moving
Interesting.
slow to take in everything that's going on would be.
Yeah,
Mhm.
we're
Pretty good idea.
tired anyway.
Yeah.
We're fucking tired.
It's a contrast. Although it is a brisk air here, you do smell the the saltiness on the sea air and the seagulls overhead. Although it is kind of bustling and busy, it is still really refreshing to know that you're back in civilization after your long and arduous and dangerous journey through the icy mountains. So even this is calm for you, always being on guard of potential yeti or orc. And you do soak in the smells of kebabs and you even see a few flies here and there. There's fresh fish. You can smell manure over on the side where the pigs are being kept. It's just an array of sights and sounds as you make your way through this marketplace. And you see different shops, different little shops, but none of them are high end. A lot of basic things. You know, a very basic potion shop. And lots of produce, so a general store as well.
Hey.
There's Sandra.
Oh,
Come on in,
there
Sandro.
you
We're still going. So
You are currently being carried off by guards. For questioning.
What did I? Am I still?
didn't-
Am
you
I
didn't
still a
do
stone
anything.
boy?
no.
you got
No,
you
you
got
get-
turned off of being stoned.
Oh.
So did I.
Yeah, I cured you, and you're being taken in for questioning in a friendly fashion by the guards, because you're a monk, and they've had some issues with some sect of monks, so they want to talk to you about your
Aye.
whereabouts and things.
All right.
Everybody's
That is
playing
true.
nice.
that is true. I'm just pulling up a few things. Welcome. So currently the party is in a marketplace, except for you, who has been peacefully escorted. One moment.
And Greihuld. So we killed the basilisks. Everybody lived amazingly enough. We lit a fire. The gnome got us all on an airship, and we were flown to Greihuld, where the airship is going to take a layover rest of 3 to 4 days. And then if we would like to continue on, we can continue on to the Necromancer's Tower to try and stop the rot, since he's the source of it. Or we can go even further to the Dwarven slave mines. Well, the slave mines that the big bad dude is planning to sacrifice all the slaves from. The big bad dude is concerned that the rot is going to kill all the slaves before they can sacrifice them. So we have a common goal. We're of course concerned the rot is going to kill many people. Although it's kind of a trolley dilemma, because if we don't deal with the rot, it might stop the huge, massive sacrifice, which might protect us from the world ending due to Tentacly Boy. But a lot of people will die. Or we can try and stop the plague, and then we can also try and rescue the slaves. And
Why don't we
stop
just take the
Tentacly
plague and push it
Move it
somewhere
somewhere
else?
else.
God.
What do you mean,
Alright.
push it somewhere else?
Gonna
Just
be
push it
pushed.
somewhere else.
What, with a pusher bot? Like,
We're gonna be freaking
Yeah.
casters. It's like I will breathe the rot away.
blow it away!
So,
You
I
better not
just,
stop typing!
So I reshared the overall map so Sandra can catch up. Lorian paid for your entrance to the city, and the guards did have to speak to you about some occurrences,
Okay.
seeing that you're a monk. And yep. So Cedric followed you as a cat to kind of trail you, but you'll need to make a perception roll to pick up on that. So make a perception roll, please, Sandro.
All right. I couldn't find my sheet 'cause it's at the bottom. There we go. Haha.
All right. You actually do not notice that you were followed by a cat through the streets. It's a very bustling city. And as you made your way from the entrance of the city, you notice that the stonework of the walls is originally of Dwarven architecture, ancient Dwarven architecture. Many of the buildings on the outside of the city are much newer. Many humans and other races are now residing in the city, along with the dwarves coexisting. And the architecture on the outside of the city is newer. Some of the architecture on the inside of the city is original Dwarven architecture mixed in with other newer architecture as well. You make your way through a marketplace escorted by about 4 guards, and you walk along the southern side of the docks, and you make your way into a stone and tile building, and metal doors close behind you, and you notice a few men in robes also standing there at post inside the building as you make your way past a few jail cells. But moving to the other party members, you continue through the marketplace, soaking in the sights and smells. Is there anything you'd like to do in this area before moving forward to the next area?
Okay.
This is you guys, not me, right?
No, this is you.
This is you.
Oh, I thought you
Yeah,
said you
no,
were
we
back to
swapped to you since you just came here.
yeah, you said back to the marketplace, right?
It's not
No,
nice.
right now we're with you.
No, Sandra's not with you guys right now.
No, but we're focused on him right now, correct?
No, he said he's go back to the marketplace.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's like
focused is needed.
Yeah,
as
all of
much
us
as I
have
need
it.
to be.
He
No,
just
no,
he's like
Sandro is now separate from everyone, and so is Cedric. Cedric is also alone right now.
Okay, so
So
they're off.
Sandro is now with guards inside of a building. Cedric is as a spider on the outside of that building, literally on the outside of the building. The rest of you are walking together through a bazaar. It is currently the mid-afternoon. It is partly cloudy. Looks like it might drizzle soon.
Are we focused
it's
on
brisk.
us or Sandro right now?
Right now
You
we're
got it.
going back to everyone in the marketplace.
Okay.
So everyone except for Cedric and Sandro.
All right. Well, I would say right now, unless people have specific stops, I would say Gington Inn and resting is definitely on the top of our list.
Uh-oh.
Okay. So the group continues toward the southern end of the docks there. Sorry, northern end of the docks there. And you come across what appears to be a large inn by the name of the Bear and Hen. Make a perception roll, each of you who are here in this scene.
This almost looks like Divinity 1,
Does.
doesn't it? Like the Divinity Original Sin?
This is definitely Divinity because you can see the poison at the bottom, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, yeah. Is this from Divinity Original Sin?
Okay, 1
Steve?
second, sorry.
I'm not sure what it's. No problem, Jason. I'm not
I
sure
think
if it's
this
original.
literally is.
I've never played the
Same
first one, but that
page.
definitely looks like that's the poison at the bottom
That's
of the
like
dock
the
there.
exact same water that they use.
I've never played the first one, I've only played the second one.
Divinity's good maps.
They do have good maps.
So, yes, the
Except for the book,
5
that's
of
not-
you. Well, Nim doesn't have to because she's not here, but Lorian and Reslin's AFK. Lorian, Falmanar, and Archimus make perception rolls.
I'll roll for
True
Nim.
fan.
There you go. Oh Christ, Nim got
I
it.
completely forgot fucking Brendan was here and I heard his voice, like, what the fuck?
You're like, wait a minute.
I'm here. I'm just very quiet.
So, with those rolls, the 4 of you do see that a stone's throw from the main bay, this tavern and inn's entrance is on the front side of the building here. It also has a back entrance that you've seen coming around. The sound of many voices chatting, a flute and singing can be heard from the outside. The building is made of stone and wood and appears to be quite cozy, and smoke billows from the chimneys. The inn is a 2-story timber and brick building with a black tile roof and a tiled mosaic floor kind of along the entrances of the doorways. And yeah, this appears to be the inn that the guard told you about, the Bear and Hen. And then Cedric, you rolled a particularly high roll there. You also
that was-
see, we will show you what you see. You also see this group of individuals standing beyond the door, just talking amongst themselves and eating some rations.
They got rats hanging from a.
Right? I'm not quite sure. Maybe he's the guy that brought the raw. I don't know.
Uh-oh.
You see that there is a female tiefling. There is
Does that person have a gun?
a
What?
male human, and you also see a dwarf there.
Mr. T looking motherfucker.
Right?
I pity the fool that take my hammer.
Hell is that one person on the list? It looks like the person on the list have a freaking gun.
Do they have a dog too?
They do have a dope.
A little dwarfer.
They do.
Adventure party.
They are as they appear in the picture.
Take a wild guess and assume that's those guys.
So that's actually
Damn,
the
it's like-
tiefling woman on the left. She's got the lighter pink skin, her horns concealed by the hat.
It's like the
Alrighty.
motherfucking medieval Adams family right here.
Are any of them hot?
God
That's
damn
what Lorian
it.
really wants to know.
God damn it.
I
Roll
gotta play my.
investigation.
I gotta play my character, man.
Roll investigation.
Make
26.
Oh my god.
So
Oh my
you,
God.
You find
I
that
investigate the
out of
hotness.
the three of them, the dwarf in the center appears to have a bravado that outmatches even your own, and his rippling muscles protrude confidence.
Ah.
Can he match you in stature? Can he match you in bed? That is the question that is on Lorian's mind.
Can I look at the tiefling?
You can look at the tiefling. I mean, you see that she's got a very odd style about her, kind of mysterious, and she's scarred across the face there.
There's something about you, girl.
I'm just gonna give her I'm gonna give her an understanding nod.
She looks away.
Damn,
Definitely
that bad
edge.
looking.
It's not anticipating the 26. Jeez.
Alright, let's go look to the right and stroke his visible and go, damn, I think I look that bad.
He just gets super self-conscious about his appearance. It's like, oh man, I need a shave. It has been like 2 weeks. Dang. With the hair, the blood-soaked clothes. Nah, it can't be. Copious amounts of blood. I'm
So
so
I delicately arch an eyebrow. How far away are these people from us?
They're about 30 feet away.
I saunter. I saunter in their direction, trying to lock eyes with the dwarf.
The dwarf, you can tell, appears to pretend not to notice you at first. But as you walk closer, it is unavoidable. He turns to you and first makes it as obvious as possible as he looks you up and down, and then makes it as obvious as possible to look the rest of you up and down. And he's got a smirk upon his face.
Well, hello there.
Can just
I was looking
I
for the
want-
most interesting person in town, and I think I found you.
you said that's literally
I
the
said
last
that to the-
person we just crossed.
To the dwarf.
To the gnome, to the dwarf, to me, to everyone else in the past town with all the crystals.
Well, that's no surprise. After all, I am Morko Lutger, dwarven adventurer. You must be new here.
Yes, we've been busy, adventuring.
Oh, adventuring, hmm? And what might those tales be?
Oh, where to start? Well, we're trying to save the world. You see, darling. Have you heard about? I turn around and walk into the inn. I just turn my back on him and walk in the inn.
Can I open these barrels? Because these are real out of place.
Absolutely. Make an inspection.
That's a
Inspection.
new skill.
Investigation. I think.
Investigation. Okay, I was like,
That's what I
the
mean.
fuck?
I'm sorry. Investigation.
It's fine.
I'm just a little like I'm like juggling a million. Okay, you see that these barrels are filled with ale that at one point must have been like heaven to taste, but they have gone bad. They've been cracked. So you can only imagine how much more ale is within that is good. These are out to just drain basically, and you assume that someone's gonna wash the barrels and make use of them again. This is ale that's gone bad.
Okay. I'm going to put the lid back on it. Well, that's enough of that. I'm gonna make my way to the inn unless these 3 adventuring friends would happen to have anything to say.
Make an insight.
Lock it up.
You see all of them looking up and down. The man with the rats on the right avoids eye contact, but the dwarf makes a very bold eye contact and is smirking to himself so much that you feel like he's about to burst into laughter.
Your partner really cares what he is, doesn't he? And as that, I'm gonna walk towards the end.
He looks to the tiefling with a smirk on his face and lights a pipe.
Alright, I'm gonna disappear into the inn.
Very good.
Magic. It literally disappears and then the door opens.
Actually, we're going to switch over to we're actually going to make a switch over to Sandro and Cedric. So first we're going to address Sandro.
I like
Sandro,
how clear these are.
yeah.
Did they take my weaponry? Or is it still on me? I'm not gonna use it. I'm just asking.
You have everything on you.
Okay.
Your fists are your weaponry.
So
Yeah, I know, but I mean my sword, because that sword is very special to my character.
So I'm going to give you an abridged version of what you met at the gates of the city. A guard who is pretty friendly, basically, just questioned each person and inspected you physically for the rot, and he found that Nim was infected and cured by certain indicators on the gums. You've learned that the gums can indicate whether or not you're infected and or recovered. But yeah, the guards are not like hassling you or even physically touching you. They're just escorting you. And as you enter this prison, make a perception roll. And it is a prison.
All right.
You
23.
see, you see a few folks to the left and the right. Some are just sitting there calmly. There's a person sleeping. You see to your left a tiefling of red hue. You see a woman sort of sleeping on a cot to your right. And you make your way through the hallway as they escort you. And the halls echo. They sound very empty and it's just very silent in here. And you wait here for about 10 minutes, and a guard who you've met before at the entrance of the city finally arrives and joins the rest of them. He's got a long braided brown beard. He's a human and he stands about 6'4", and he motions to the door in front of you, which is a metal door. He says, "We will have a few words in here, and we do value your time. I don't want you to think that we do not appreciate the time that you're taking to do this for us. This is in regards to your brethren."
Which ones?
"We understand that you are a monk and you may or may not know about some of the occurrences that have been happening, but I cannot say too much in front of these other folks. This information is not privy to the prisoners here. So if you may come into our guard quarters here for just a moment, we'll speak where there are not prying ears."
All right, lead on.
So, although I don't have a map for this, we'll have to use the theater of the mind. You walk into a very small, modest guard's quarter. There's racks of generic weapons on the wall. There's halberds, there's longswords, there's shields. And there's a very plain wooden table and a hearth. And the fire is blazing, and there's already one guard in there. And there's also a man in robes. And these other 5 guards enter, including the one who already identified himself earlier as Haas. And he motions that you sit down, and everyone is comfortable except for the one guard and the one man in the robes. And he says, after he closes the door, and the man in the robe waves at the door briefly, he says, "The Order of Whispers, we understand, is one of the sect of monks that you may or may not be affiliated with or have information for us about. Is that correct?"
That's one of the four, but that's one of the four that like I'm kind of like a part of, right? Because there's mine, there's the one in the mountain.
So out of character, you are you're of the ivory-faced monks, and you've learned recently about the Featherfoot monks. You understand that they're a more peaceful group trying to keep themselves and have been victimized by the Order of Whispers. All you know of the Order of Whispers is that you have these four sects of monks have similar origins, but they've diverged greatly on their practices and of their ideologies. And then there's some other stuff that I don't want to get into because it's a long stuff. It's described in the last video.
Just want to make sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. But all you know of it, just to brush you up on the last video, the most relevant information is that they are guarding some really world-changing secret that even Dearno Cromwell was interested in, that he knows about, but he doesn't know their exact whereabouts. He knows that they're somewhere stationed on the Plain of Ash, which is vast and unmapped.
All right.
So the guard patiently looks at you and waits for a reply.
There's information that I may or may not be privy to. However, if it is shared, I would like to make some kind of conversation with the others I'm with to know what is deemed necessary to be handed out.
Well, are you affiliated with these, or do you more so know about
I am
them
aware
by-
of that.
you're
That
aware
is
of
all.
them? I'm very open with you here, and I have no problem with admitting that we are dealing with an issue. In the past week, we've had allegedly the Order of Whispers attack our great library. The great library is home to some of the oldest tomes, some of the darkest and deepest reaches of our history, and it's heavily guarded. And these ivory monks attacked our men there. They did not successfully penetrate the walls of our magically guarded library, but they tried, and several of our men were injured. We're searching for these fugitives. What can you tell us that can help us in this?
I'm gonna kind of eye over how adept do these like the average guards look? Like how skilled did they look in what they did, or like what they can't
Make an
do?
investigation. Make an investigation.
Okay.
So these men look like they are wearing their armor, and what you know of armor, as you don't wear it often. They're wearing it well. It's well fitted. The armor is polished. These men look alert. They are not looking away from you. They are keeping their eyes on you at all times. They're watching your hands. They're watching how you sit. They are holding their weapons not in an aggressive manner, but at the ready. You see that they are ready to unsheath should they need to. And the man with the robes is a man of Arcana. You don't know what he's capable of.
It's more like I'm just trying to like mentally imagine like how they might fare against these monks. It came to like a face-to-face confrontation again.
Well, based on they are wearing full plate and they have general weapons of war. So your knowledge of monks is that monks can exploit the shortcomings of traditional battle, of the encumbrance of armor. You merely know that these men are equipped for traditional battle, and monks often use non-traditional means such as hand-to-hand combat and the agility of the body. So all you can discern is that these are well-trained soldiers for conventional warfare. You don't know how they might fare against something like hand-to-hand combat or the release of ki and whatnot.
Well,
What did I miss? My power went out.
Sandra's being questioned. You came across some snide adventurers as you entered the Baron Hen Inn.
Ah, okay.
Well, I don't know a whole lot, but I know if you're dealing with monks, it's a very impractical way. It's very impractical to combat them with traditional means. You either need some kind of magic. Range weaponry doesn't work too well. Close combat doesn't work too well. And they will, they're more adept, most likely, than the men you have are. But, I'm not sure exactly what these ones are capable of.
We do have some of the most talented mages in the region here in Greihuld. I'm more so concerned about their whereabouts, their patterns of movement. Where might a monk go if they're trying to hide in or around a city? Are they well equipped to live in the solitude of the Dwalin Mountains? Do they have connections to the sea? Would they be hiding under our very noses within the city? If you had to put yourselves in these brethren's shoes or sandals, if you will, how might they move amongst us?
Well, I personally like to stand out somewhat, as though it's made aware that I am a monk, but if a monk wanted to hide, they could do so easily. I could be completely naked and still be at full operation in terms of my abilities, so tracking them is not necessarily easy. Monks would typically reside in quiet places, as we need lots of time for meditation. Somewhere easily defensible.
Now, what would you consider yourself a monk of? You said you're not a Order of the Whispers. What is your sect called, sir?
I'm from the Ivory Faces. We practice what's called Wind Over Mountain. Typically, it's designed for strength. However, I'm not built like a Goliath, so I use leverage and other techniques instead.
Very good. We have taken enough of your time. What did you say your name was again, sir?
Sandro.
We've taken up enough of your time. If you can think of anything else that can help us find these fugitives, please approach one of the guards here at the prison or at the barracks, which is directly to the west of the center of the merchant ward. But we must send you on our way. We thank you for your time, and we appreciate your cooperation. He shows you the door. The door opens, and you are free to walk through the prison and back out the main door. Unless you have any other questions, we're going to move to Cedric.
As I'm leaving, I'm going to say tattoos. Keep an eye out for tattoos.
You see a glimmer in the guard's eyes. He nods. He appreciates that knowledge, you can tell. Cedric, what is it you would like to do? You see Sandro emerge from the door of the building that he entered about 30 minutes earlier.
Find a spot where it would be obvious that a spider just turned into a person.
You could make your way into an alleyway across.
Yeah, like a small back alley where people.
Closer to where the dock meets the cobblestone. There's a little bit of unseen area there.
Yeah, just somewhere where that wouldn't raise
Understood.
it. And
You're good?
go back into me, then with my magic cloak, change the way it looked so it's not the same.
Mm-hmm.
Something different. And go meet back up with them.
Very good. Now, we're nearing a good time to wrap up. Did you want to try to regroup with the others? You did hear that they were going to the Baron Hen Inn, Cedric. Did you want to kind of head in that direction with Sandro?
Yeah, I was going to meet up with him and be like, so, do you have any business you need to attend to, or do you want to go meet up with them?
Honestly, I don't know where we are, really. I'm not familiar with the outside lands. I'd rather get back to the group as quickly as possible. Crowds make me nervous.
Sure can do. Let's get on our way then. And then we'll go back to the place.
So I'm just going to do a quick ping of where Sandro was just now with you, just so you're aware. I'm pinging here. This is the prison.
Yeah, so we're here, and then we'll probably head up.
You just came out the top area, and if you walk along this, if you walk along the dock here, you can actually see the bears. This is the Baron Hen right here that I'm pinging.
Yeah, that's what I figured it was going to be.
So all you have to do, if you go briskly around the docks, you can make your.